Good morning, everybody. Thanks for clicking your way back to the good old Southern IA. We're gearing up to get going back to doing some trenching, and today I'll be answering a couple of viewer questions along with telling you guys or showing you guys how a machine made in the 60s can put pipe in the ground using laser beams. Before we get started here this morning, Steve's already got things ready to go on the trencher there. We've had a couple of good questions posted from the video that I posted this morning. I'm going to try and answer those real quick. And maybe Steve can chime in on a couple of these. Question number one was, is there going to be a yield drag to this year? Or will it have ruts through the field? Yes, I would probably say that there might be a little bit of a yield drag, but going into soybeans this year, I don't think my yield drag will be as bad as if it was going into corn, because we are out here this time of year, the ground is soft, we're driving heavy equipment around it, you're disturbing the dirt, so there's going to be compaction made this year. So I would say that there's going to be a little bit of a yield drag, and definitely where these pattern tiles are going to be, it's going to settle, and so I will be able to feel those ruts or settle spots as I go across with the sprayer and the combine. If this was done in the fall, it would go through a freeze thaw, and that would help things settle. Plus it would get all the spring rains, that'd settle things down. So after you go and then work the dirt, you really wouldn't notice it at all, and probably there wouldn't be a yield drag. That's my assumption. The other question is that basically, does pattern tiling your field affect it like performance if it was in a drought? Now, I'm not a doctor in plants and stuff like this, so again, this is just my opinion. And I would say no, is that it actually helps it. And this is why. When the ground is saturated like this, it doesn't cause the roots of your plants to dive down searching for moisture. So your roots are going to be shallow all the time. And if you can drain your dirt where it gets rid of the excess moisture, the roots will chase that moisture down, so your roots will dive down deeper. So your plant is then set up for drought tolerance because it's got deeper roots, versus a situation where it's in a really wet spot. Then it's, once the moisture escapes where its roots are, your plant's not set up to try and go through that drought stress. So I would say the exact opposite would be, is that actually pattern tiling your fields helps in a drought situation versus hurting it. If you guys don't think that I'm right about this helping the crops versus hurting the crops in a drought situation, let me know why. Steve's gonna fire it up. I gotta go put a T into the sub main over there, and then we'll be able to put this thing in the ground. Well, that didn't sound good. Put this thing in the ground, start out, and then we'll talk about lasers. Next viewer question, someone asked me what kind of bibs I wear. These are what I like. These are a Carhartt, like a stretch flex style bib. They're pretty darn nice. I'll throw a link down in the description in case you're interested. Someone in the comments section asked to see what some of the old clay tile looks like. This here is the old clay tile. It was just laid in the ground in sections, and then the gap in between the pipes here, which that machine out there could lay this stuff, is what it would let it in. That's what the clay tile is that we're talking about. Wrong way. Now it's time to show you guys how we use laser beams to put it in pipe. So what Steve has is a survey stick, and down there at the other end he's already put a reference to the top of the pipe by moving the receiver there, and he knows what notch it's at. So right now he's trying to figure out how deep the pipe would be, which you can hear by that tone, at that location there.
3 feet and 7/10 deep.
So that makes it 3'9"
Yeah,
ish.
about 3 feet.
So it gives a tone. The faster beep means that it's above, and the slower beep means it's below, and the solid beep means that it's on grade. Right there's the solid, that means on grade. So that right there's 3 feet.
Yep, that right there is 3 feet.
Oh, I'd say that might do.
It'll draw from around too.
Yeah.
And
As we keep going out that way too, that'll help this.
Yeah. And when I trench, I actually trench beyond the end, which will disturb the soil and bring the water into it.
Yep. So, oh yeah, that's where we'll put our flag.
Okay.
Our target. That corner over there. Basically, this calculation here is giving the pipe a certain slope. What's the slope set at?
1%.
1% slope, and we'll show you guys that when we get back down here, and I'll show you kind of how it's going to work. So Steve here will give us a little bit of a rundown. I'm walking around that clod. I've fallen over that thing, over clods too much already on this job. I'm going to walk around them. Here's how we're using the laser beams here. Is that this is a transmitter, which Steve can talk about. It's a Spectra transmitter.
This transmitter is referred to as a single grade machine. It throws out a beam in one particular slope. So in this case, we have a 1% sloped beam. And if you read the side, it says that's up. Well, then it's one slope up. It's automatic, so whenever you set it, it automatically sets the transmitter to run when it becomes level, and the little beam on top will stop if for some reason if something happens that's not level anymore.
Say like when I'm backfilling and I accidentally bump the tripod, or you get a strong enough breeze, which you guys can probably hear, it's a little bit breezy out today, it could bump this out of the level that it wants to run, and that can screw things up.
So visualize this as a saucer, and that saucer is laying with a flat beam, and we are turning that saucer, so we are turning that saucer up 1% slope, so it's going 1% slope up that way and 1% slope down this way. Being the beam rotating on this axis, it doesn't change the slope on either side.
What you guys can see here is, and I'll try and get it on camera, is right up on top there's this rotating, it's almost like a whoopee light, except for it's, instead of a light, it's an actual laser beam, which a laser beam is a light. So let's see if you guys can see that.
The laser is transmitting a signal. This device reads that signal on that little rod you see inside. It takes that signal and sends it to this box. This box then reads the signal and determines whether it needs to go up or down, or you're on grade, and it will tell this to make the adjustment. Then there is a control here that goes to the machine. You can see it through there.
Let me loop you guys around. It's that yellow box right there.
This box then talks to that box and makes sure that this green light is on. So if we turn things on, we're off target. I've got to set this. So now, let me set.
So we're off target. Is the lights lit up?
Right, the lights aren't lit because we haven't
we haven't moved.
receiver.
Okay.
So let's move the receiver.
So he's below grade there, and as he raises that up, it goes to a green light here, which now is saying that the depth of the boot is perfectly on grade, and now as it takes off, it will keep that boot on grade.
So now see, I've got it above grade.
Now see, he's got it above grade a little bit.
So if we wiggle it down, there we go.
Green light.
There we go.
Green light, good to go.
Time to trench.
Time to trench. Pretty neat. Kind of simple, kind of complex. Works good. That's how we use a laser beam to put pipe in at a good grade. And like we talked about in yesterday's video, which I posted this morning, Steve uses that aluminum box, that wooden post, and that white post all the way out there to put it in a pretty straight line. If you guys want to see that, check out yesterday's video. So here we are kind of at the end of the run here. Andrew's helping Steve cap this off, which we talked about in one of the last videos. We put a cap on the end of it here. What we forgot to mention is what this box is controlling is the cylinder right up here that has the cables and stuff. It's lifting up the wheel because the boot just sits in the trench. That's what's controlling the grade. That's all that box is controlling here. But the wind has really started to pick up here on us today. But I wanted to show you guys how well we kept the grade and the depth at our target location. Right here at the end of the run, we're currently at like 3'2", and we're getting pretty darn close to the end of it. It's gonna pop out here in a second. But that kept us right at our target depth through what, a 300 and some odd foot run. And it's got a slope here as it starts to kick back off, so we've kind of started to come downhill. Works good. So we have a gentle 0.75% slope from this end to that end. If you guys have any questions about this, I'll do my best to try and answer them, but you'll have to ask them down there in the comment section below. And if you guys haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button for us to support the channel. But that's going to do it for this video today, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. But I want to wish a happy 7th birthday to Aaron Miller. Thanks for watching the videos, and we'll get you a sticker sent.